Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Who's up for some fragrance content now? Isn't it about time? So yeah, here we go. We've got a fragrance video for you, and this one is a tag. So here's another question. Do you fancy a freeway? This is a tag video started by Lizzie at Rose and Jones. She did it a little while ago and I really wanted to do it for obvious reasons. Here it is. So 3 fragrances that you are currently loving, 3 fragrances that you want to declutter, and 3 fragrances that are on your wish list. So that's the 3-way, 3 by 3 by 3. So I'm just going to go straight into it. The 3 fragrances that I'm loving right now. Let's start with the excitement of 3 gorgeous fragrances that I'm finding really addictive and using all the time. So these are like my 3 favorites right now. And the first one is fairly new to me still, and it's Paris Monte Carlo's Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee. And this is a fruity kind of ylang with the most gorgeous vanilla. I really love the vanilla note in here. It's not your cupcake frosting vanilla. It's a very natural smelling, lots of different facets and textures to it. So I'm adoring this. I took this in a sample all the way to Lithuania with me, and it got worn pretty much every single day in some way or another. Even if it wasn't my main scent of the day, then there would be a spray on one wrist. So really loving that one. And the next one is really new. It's my newest fragrance, and it's Miss Dior, the brand new reformulation, the 2021 formulation. It's fluffy and fruity and fun, and yes, you can say it's generic. I don't care. To me, it smells a little bit like makeup, lipstick and powder. There's some fruitiness from raspberry. It's powdery sweetness. There's some, I think there's vanilla. It smells like there's vanilla to me. And it's just fun. It does smell a little bit like a duty-free shop in the female department when you first spray it. But as it dries down, you start to smell what the fragrance is all about. And it is just girly, youthful, feminine, fruity floral, but in the way that I just love. So Miss Dior 2021, I took my official sample with me to Lithuania and emptied it, so that also got lots of use in the week that I was away. And finally, this is Honey Amber from Teone Reinthal. So it's an all natural perfume. It's a floral, sweet, rich yet kind of summery amber scent. It smells like a mixture of gorgeous white florals. There's a beautiful frangipani in here, and then it sits on a kind of sticky, sweet, honey-like ambery base. It is absolutely delectable. I find it so addictive, really addictive. Hence I've emptied half the bottle in just a few months. And I also took some of this to Lithuania and used a lot again in the same way. Even if it wasn't my scent of the day, it was a spray on a wrist just to enjoy it. So thoroughly loving Honey Amber. Now let's go to the less positive stuff. It's not really negative though. It's just fragrances I have that. So it's supposed to be, what are you going to declutter? I'm not necessarily decluttering these 3. That I have plans for one of them, but they're fragrances that they are just not me. They're not my taste. So I'm not saying they're bad. Absolutely not. They're just not my taste. I'm very fussy anyway. But even if a fragrance is my taste, I can still be super fussy about it. But these are actually made of notes and ingredients that just aren't me. So well, let's start with this one. Is Oud 7 from Matia Premiere, and I've just realised it's 7 isn't spelt like the letter 7, because that's got an R in it, hasn't it? I've just clocked that. My head's a bit, but how do you spell 7? Is it like that? Maybe I'm thinking of the River Severn. Has that got an R in it? Oh, God help me. I did go to school, you know. Anyway, regardless of that, Oud 7, it's about the 7 ingredients that are used to surround the oud note and interplay with it. It is an oud fragrance. Oud is definitely not one of my favourite notes. It's also quite woody, dry, smoky. It's a powerhouse. It's a massive bomb of a fragrance, and it's not my style at all. It's just, it's too dry, it's too smoky, it's not sweet. It's just the opposite of my kind of fragrances that I like. So it's on the list of fragrances that I'm not going to be wearing. But thank you, Matia Premiere, for sending it to me. So this is the collaboration between Aaron Terence Hughes and Chris from Fragmental. Chris was so kind in arranging to send this to me, and it's to my nose, it's a sweet leather. I don't know if the bottle smells of rubber. It smells rubbery, but I think the bottle might actually smell of rubber. It's a sweet, slightly smoky, not really too smoky. I think it's like tobacco leather, but kind of sweet and rich. And it's just not my style. I'm not saying it's bad at all whatsoever. It's quite another bombastic one as well. So it's a beast mode fragrance. And I think I'm just not really a beast mode person. I like more delicate nuances and things like that. And so this is quite a loud fragrance. And again, they're not my notes. I don't generally love leathers and very smoky fragrances, and so I'm not the target market here. So that's why this one is on the list. But I do have an amazing plan for this fragrance so that it gets the love that it truly deserves, and you'll be hearing more about that very soon. And then the third one is Sofia by Sofia Vergara, the celebrity fragrance. And this one I bought as a blind buy. It is cheap. They cost about £20 for a 100ml bottle. I heard loads and loads of great stuff about it. It's supposed to smell like a combination of Coco Mademoiselle and La Vie est Belle. I don't really get that so much. I can see the Coco Mademoiselle a bit more. I would say La Vie est Belle is so sweet, and this is really not that sweet. I mean, it's sweet-ish, but not that sweet. This is a patchouli, and I just don't generally enjoy fruity patchouli scents. And this, I guess the patchouli is a little heavy. I don't think, actually, from memory, I don't think patchouli is a listed note, but I would bet my bottom dollar it is in here, because that's how it smells to me. It's a patchouli scent. It's a perfectly good fragrance, well accomplished, well made, but it doesn't have the sharpness and the, I guess it doesn't have the screechiness of Coco Mademoiselle, which I actually think is what makes Coco Mademoiselle. Also doesn't have the massive sillage and projection that Coco Mademoiselle has, and I think it's not as sweet as Mademoiselle. And in terms of La Vie est Belle, I don't really get too much of a connection with that. But yeah, it's just not for me. It's fine. It's a very good value for if you like that kind of fragrance. If you enjoy a patchouli that's not too sweet, I would highly recommend you try this, but it's not for me. Now then, on to the fun part, the 3 fragrances I want to buy. So 3 fragrances on my wish list. We'll start with, we've just talked about Teone Reinthal, and one that I really want to add is called Au Naturel. And this one is a beautiful floral citrus. It's very, very bright, refreshing burst of citrus, and a bouquet of different white florals with that underpinning groundedness that seems to be in most of the Teone Reinthal perfumes. I don't know what it is exactly. Feels a little bit like a touch of resins, but it's not a very heavy base, but it's just enough to anchor it and keep it from being too uplifting, if that makes sense. So I really love this one. It is beautiful. It's really beautiful. And then the next two I don't have. So the one of them would be a blind buy-ish, and that is Gourmands Rose Sherry. Rose Sherry is, according to a lot of information that I've seen and people that have now bought it and tried it, it is very, very similar to the previous French Kiss that's just been discontinued from Gourmands. French Kiss is, I've had a few samples of it. It's been on my buy list, but it has never made it to me actually buying it because I have a couple of problems with it. So I'll tell you what it's like. It's a raspberry, rose, almond, sweet, syrupy, vanilla type perfume. You know, it's in the ballpark of Chanel's Missia, Frederic Marle's Lipstick Rose, that kind of thing. And I love that general area of fragrance. I do love that. But it is quite sweet. It's quite syrupy sweet. It might be teetering on the just a bit too sweet for me, which is, I think, what held me back. Plus, it's quite linear. It doesn't really do a lot. And for me, I do like my sweeter fragrances. They need to at least take me on a bit of a journey. I get a little bit overwhelmed by a sweet fragrance that doesn't change. So that's why I never ended up buying French Kiss. This I've heard from one person who said it's like a slightly spicier version. So that sounds good to me. It sounds like it might add a bit more interest to me. But yeah, I don't know really until I try it, but I kind of want, you know, I'm tempted on the blind buy, but I don't know whether I'll really do that because now the bottles are 100 mils and they're £280, I believe, so it's quite a lot. So I might not ever go there. I might try and get a sample, who knows. Then the next one is, oh yeah, I'll show you this, which is the one I just showed you earlier. It's Paris Monte Carlo. So it comes in a bottle like this because it's Paris Monte Carlo, but it's the vanilla one, Vanille de Tahiti, and that one is gorgeous. Also, I've had a sample, or a couple of samples, no, a sample, which the lovely Irma sent me, my lovely fragrant friend Irma. She sent me a sample of Vanille de Tahiti, and I didn't like desperately need it straight away, but it really called to me the more I wore it. It has this gorgeous vanilla note that's different to the vanilla in here, yet has some similar qualities, and then it has this unique texture that's quite difficult to explain, kind of dry and not crunchy, but just has this real heft to it, almost like coffee or something. Yeah, it's almost like a coffee element to it, and it also has ylang ylang, so it sounds like it might be similar to this, but it's actually quite different because the texture of the vanilla is different, and I'm sure that's down to other notes and whatnot as well, but they do layer so beautifully together, and I would absolutely love to have it so that I could either wear it alone or layer it with this. So that is high up on my to buy list. So that concludes this video. And just one final thing, if you're still watching, I have decided that because I'm nearing the 6,000 subscribers mark here on YouTube, I am going to do a questions and answers. I don't think I've ever done that before. So I just saw Ouch110's latest one. He does them regularly, and it was so fun to watch. So I've decided to do one when I hit 6k. So if you want to submit a question for that, you need to let me know that it's a question for that video. So you can either just say that, or you could, let's have a secret code, use the aubergine emoji, and then I'll know to put it in the video and not to answer directly on the comment section, if that makes sense. So if you have a question for me, use the aubergine emoji first, and then I will put that question, if I can, into the video. I'm going to say, regarding the questions, no holds barred. Is that the right way to say it? You can ask me what you want, but I can't promise I'll answer everything. You know, there are limits, aren't there? I've got to have some boundaries. I know that I'm already pretty much an open book, but there might be some things that you're interested in, personal or fragrance wise, my opinion on any particular fragrance, anything you want. and I will see what I can do once we get past the 6,000 subscribers mark. So that's it then. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.